Hi, and welcome to another edition of Weekend Discovery. On today's show, we meet up with Becky Doubleday and Pat Sullivan to talk about the upcoming new tour from the Peoria Historical Society called Hidden Peoria. That's happening on May 2nd and 3rd. Then we take a look at the sure signs of spring in central Illinois. So stay tuned today for a very interesting show. Weekend Discovery, brought to you in part by TAPS No-Kill Animal Shelter. Fostering saves lives. 100 Taps Lane in Pekin. And Kelleher's Irish Pub and Eatery, 619 Southwest Water Street in Peoria.
Hi, I'm Becky Doubleday, and I am here today for Hidden Peoria. Well, what's Hidden Peoria, you might ask? It is a new tour from the Peoria Historical Society that's going to be unveiled in downtown Peoria on May 2nd and 3rd. The Peoria Historical Society has been able to unlock the doors to some of the most iconic buildings in downtown Peoria, and here to talk about one of those today is Pat Sullivan.
Well, thank you, Becky.
You're welcome.
This is something new that the Historic Society is doing, and we both jumped on board. Of course, that's why we're here. But the other thing is some of these buildings have some rich history, and myself, I've been here for so long that I'm part of it, of the history.
So what's the building we're here in today?
Okay, this is the Roselle Siltest building, and it was supposed to be called Roselle Siltest for years, but Siltest, when they took it over, I think it's in the early 50s, dropped the Roselle. And when they sold it to him, I talked to one of the nephews. He says, no, it's supposed to be Roselle Siltest. I've always called it that. No one else really knows that history, and so other people have, but not much. The buildings, what we've done with this building, we conduited it off, and so it's mixed use. So you can have condos for living or business, and we have that, and we've done that with the whole warehouse district that we started back in the 80s, early 90s, basically. And we've been talking about it, and it's coming through very well. We've got blocks and blocks of things happening still.
So what was the building originally used for?
Okay, they started, Mr. J.D. Roselle and his brothers had farms out past Route 150, right there where News Drive-In's at.
Where you can still enjoy ice cream, by the way, yeah.
And they had farms on both sides of Knoxville. And of course, there was a dirt path basically way back in the start. And but they started their dairy, and they had this place down here. In fact, we're standing on the corner where they started. And this building's about a block long. So there's different cut-ups on it. There's different levels because of the hill, and so everything's inside. And some of the retail we have in here is Time Eatery, and we have a warehouse on State where you can go to weddings and other participation of events. We have Freedom Inc., iWork, who have been here probably the longest. It's a physical therapy unit. They've been here for, I bet you since 2010. And we built that for them. And now it's gotten into about four condos, and we got 4 more to build. And they're selling off real nice. And Chris was very generous of it to let us come in this one, and he's going to let us see this one. It's just old but new.
So tell me a little bit about the warehouse district. How long has it been in development?
About that same time. So it started in the 90s, early 90s, and it took a bunch of us that own the buildings, Joe Ritchie, Chuck Gabbert, and Murray's, and Winklers. We all got together and said, we can make this happen. And with the generosity of some of the politicians that thought they've seen it in other cities, it works. And so they let us take off with it.
And all of the Hidden Peoria locations are in downtown Peoria in the warehouse district.
Yeah.
So what are people who come on the Hidden Peoria tour, what are they going to be seeing in the Roselle Seal Test building?
Okay. In this building, they're going to see it's not wide open anymore. It used to be quite a bit wide open, but you have to haul it off and for these businesses to have their privacy. But you'll see the way they had to back up into certain areas, docks and so forth, where the freezer was, where time is at, and then the works of where they made ice cream. You'll go down that hallway, and you'll see we'll probably have a couple of those doors open, and then you'll be able to see how Chris took this and made it his home, and this was actually part of their generator room, where they had a great big generator right underneath the floor here, and all the wires that they needed for all their heavy equipment. And they had some heavy equipment on the roofs and everything that we had to get out of here to make it roomable to live. And you didn't need that old generator anyway. But it was huge. It took over a third of this room. And then the outside mechanical stuff was just like your air conditioner at home. It's outside. It was up on the roof, but it's for a freezer. And they had 5 tremendously heavy and big. It took one of the largest cranes in the Peoria area to get it off the roof, clean off the roof and stuff. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on. And then across the street is the Winkler building, and that was where Siltest, as they grew, or Roselle, as they grew, they built that 3-story building, and they had their trucks inside there, and they had a tunnel underneath Washington Street, and I was the last one to close it off. It was a tunnel to get over there.
Too bad we can't get, that's really hidden.
Oh,
Then it's closed off, it's okay.
They filled it up.
Did they?
Yeah, it's dangerous.
So did you have any unexpected finds when you were building out this building? Any secret, besides underground tunnels that you found?
Yes. But they were leftovers. Jim Garrett bought it from Siltest, and he had blueprints of doing a big disco bar area, this whole block. He had it all figured out, just couldn't get enough people to invest in it. And then, but he had it for quite some time, I bet you 10 years or 8 years. And he ended up letting somebody with the paintball came in to be fun. And the whole second floor was paintball. And I tell you, it was a mess to clean up because they let it sit, and we had to clean it up. But we got it cleaned up, got everything sandblasted and washed, and then everybody started seeing the brick and the porcelain brick, and because at dairy, the federal government comes and inspects you, and so you have that type of thing. So you'll be able to see where the ice cream was made, and they had right underneath Chris here and the tattoo place, they had docks that they pulled underneath the building to load up and get the milk out early and make ice cream up there and get it to the grocery stores and to the freezers and stuff.
When was Roselle? When was the first Roselle building here, or when was it?
1895, to my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's some that go back to at least 1915, something like that. But I believe the Roselles and their family, they told me 1895. So whether he was bootlegging it or what, I don't know.
We asked no questions.
Yeah. But, that's how this. And then Siltest, like I said, came in the 50s, and they redid the whole place. I have some pictures of that, and hopefully I'll get them up on the walls. And that's what people are going to see in the hallways, the old and then the new.
Yeah.
And this was quite active. They had candy ladies. They made candy here. And they had candy ladies
Is that typical to make candy at a dairy, or do you know? Or because they had milk, like for milk chocolate, or
I don't know. It was something that maybe take some waste to make candy out of.
Right.
And some of those ladies will come into tellers there and say, "Oh, we just had a meeting. There's not too many of us left."
Oh. Like a retiree club kind of thing.
Right, exactly.
That's nice.
Yeah, very neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the same as well for a lot of the different locations. We're going to have at least 13 locations in downtown in the warehouse district. for Hidden Peoria. And
For 2 days.
yes, for
It
2
gets
days.
stamped, and you don't have to make it all in one day.
Right.
You go a couple hours one day,
Yeah.
a couple hours the next day.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to be able to see the same kinds of before and after kind of shots and things like that to help you imagine what it might have looked like back in the day at our different locations. So that is May 2nd and 3rd. For more information and tickets, go to PeoriaHistoricalSociety.org or 309tix.com.
So Becky, we're up here.
Yeah, we are
We're
up
only
here.
We're
This is
only 2
great.
stories up, but actually 3. The way Chris has got this German engineered deck, it's one of the best you're going to buy. But he's got great scenery with the river. You got our buildings over there with all the activity that we do on the street, and we have about 20 condos and apartments in that building. It goes right around to the downtown. Really neat downtown look at night. And then you got Winkler's. These 3 buildings are Winkler's, and they have apartments in these buildings. And that's the one that we had a tunnel to. That's the 3-story that had a tunnel to it from the sill test here. And then these 2 buildings were just bought, and they have over 150 units that are going to go in these. That one there, I think, will have 150, and this will have 75. So that's a lot of walking downtown. Well, just on the other side is 911, I think 811 they call it, and that's almost full. It's 129 units. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of action going down here, and a lot of people living down here, and of course this is the top of the Roselle Sill Test Building. These are the steel girders that held those big machines I told you made it for the freezers and so forth, and this whole unit is sitting on that, on some steel like that. And then we have Depot Street that's down here. It used to be Depot Street, and then the railroad had it for 100 years, and then he sold it to me, and I saw a sign that said Depot Street. Then I looked it up in the archives and the books, and there was a Depot Street. Because where WTVP's at, right, which is right there.
Which is right there, right.
That used to be the old Union Railroad house. Mm-hmm. And then it burnt down, or they tore it down in 1959, and the O'Neills bought it and built a metal building there for their trucking. They took their trucking out of the old brick building where Kelleher's is at to there. And they were there since World War I.
Wow.
And so it's pretty neat to see it all develop. And of course, just up the street, Casey Baldwin's got his development going. Just down the street this way, Kurt Huber's got some great things going down there, and downtown Peoria. So,
yeah.
There's no, you're real close to everything. You can walk everywhere. And everybody says, oh, you can't walk to a grocery store. Okay, we can. But you know what? You're always going to a doctor's visit or somewhere, or a family member. You can always go by a grocery store and stop and get what you need. Down further, by Pecan, there's other condos and apartments. You got Persimmon Lofts, and you got the Pecan, and then across the street from that, they have a little small grocery in there, and sandwiches and so forth. So it's coming. One of these buildings will probably get that, but it's coming. There's not much money in, it's like a restaurant sometimes. There's not much money into them, and 2-3%, and then you got to worry about the waste. So, but yeah, we have that. In emergency, we get in our car and go across the bridge, and there's 18 of them.
Right.
So.
And I think too, what is, you mentioned all the developers who are a part of all this, including yourself, Pat, and how much they've invested in this, and it's really bearing some wonderful fruit. And there are still a lot of great hidden stories. Yeah,
George Shadid used to live on the 3rd floor right over there at our building, and he was very instrumental of getting a grant from the state for Washington Street, and then Ryan Spain was very instrumental in getting another grant right behind it to do the side streets. So with the work of both sides of this of everything, it worked out well.
It takes a community, doesn't it?
Yeah, it takes a community, and you gotta love each other.
Yeah. Amen.
But there's a lot of things going on, and this has been you'll be able to see a lot of it from at this
Hidden Peoria.
In Peoria, Hidden Peoria.
It's all down here in downtown Peoria. Walkable. Very walkable, yes.
One of the sure signs of spring in central Illinois, a trip to the Peoria Zoo. We paid a visit to the zoo and met with our friend Julie Brunton.
Hi, I'm Julie Brunton. I am an educator at the Peoria Zoo, and we are excited about springtime here at the zoo. The animals are already starting to enjoy this warmer weather right now, but as we get into May, a little bit later, especially Memorial Day through Labor Day, that's when things really start hopping at the zoo. So we'll have our giraffe feeding starting up again. The Aussie walkabout will open up. Our lodge is open on the weekends right now, but in May they'll be open every day, and they'll be serving all kinds of good food. And of course, during the warmer weather, animals are more active. You'll get to see a lot more animals outside, such as the Galapagos tortoise, the Aldabra tortoise, and the Chinese alligator. A visit to the zoo is a whole lot of fun. There's all kinds of different things to do. So you've got the giraffe feeding. We also have budgie feeding, so that's the chance to get those little birds up on the sticks with the little seeds. That's a lot of fun to do also. A visit usually takes a couple hours to go around, but what's really wonderful is when you're out here at the zoo, you can also visit other amenities here at Glen Oak Park. We have the Playhouse nearby us, and of course the Tricentennial Playground. So hours at the Peoria Zoo are from 10 o'clock till 5 o'clock, although we do shut our gates at 4:30 just because the animals are starting to go back inside at that time. We have memberships available here at the zoo that allow you to come out and visit anytime that you want. We'd love for you to come visit us here at the Peoria Zoo, springtime, summertime, any time of the year.
If you grew up in the Peoria area, there's a good chance you know this next place very well from when you were a kid. This is their 59th season and a sure sign that spring is here.
I'm owner David Baker. Welcome to Cartville.
Tack it up, buddy, gonna shut you down. It happened on the strip where the road is wide. Two cool shorts standing side by side. Yeah, a fuel injected Stingray and a 413 are revving up their engines and it sounds real mean. Tack it up, buddy, gonna shut you down. Declining numbers at an even rate. At the count of one, we both accelerate. My Stingray is like the slicks are starting to spin, but the 413's really digging in.
Cartville offers go-karting, off-road ATVs, bumper boats, miniature golf, batting cages, and a snack stand. We've been here, this is our 59th season. We've had families out here, 5 generations of them. I talk to great-grandpas, great-grandmas, bringing the kids out, the great-grandkids now, and it's kind of been a real community spot for years here. Yeah, our dune buggy's all-terrain vehicle. Goes around a half a mile gravel road course with humps and bumps, bank corners and hills, and it's pretty exciting for the young kids. So, bumper boats open up Memorial Day weekend, and they run through Labor Day. They're always fun when it's warm out. Go out there and get soaked or get a bucket of water thrown on you or something. It's always a good time. Miniature golf, that's always fun. Bring the girlfriend, bring the boyfriend. It's a good date night thing, or fun for the whole family. And of course, we got our batting cages. They're great for leagues or teams. Come out and practice. If you're on a slow pitch softball team or just softball team, come on out, get you a few licks in before a game, get tuned up. It really helps you out. Springtime hours basically go with the weather. On the good days we run. If it's 55 degrees or better, not raining, we'll be open. Summertime hours, once mid-May gets here, we start running every day. 10 in the morning till 9 p.m. at night. You got, church groups, employee outings. Give us a call. We'll get your group on the calendar and get you scheduled. Show you a good time.
Springtime also means classic car shows. We went out to Expo Gardens and met with our friend Alan Dubit and saw some very impressive classic cars.
This is the Early Ford V8 Club's invitational only car show. We have right around 50 cars we go around all summer and look at car shows and just pick out cars that we think will be there. Then we have a committee that will choose those cars and send out invitations for people to come and bring their cars. Then also we have this swap meet here that the people just wait all year for. But we haven't had one for 2 years, and this is our third year because of COVID right now. So I saw a lot of people here that hasn't, they've talked about not being able to get out for 2 years. I think our numbers are way up this year compared to 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whenever the last show was. Some of the cars that we have is, we have a 1914 up to early 70s, late 70s cars, mostly 30s, 40s, and 50s, 60s cars that we have. Some high rods, some stock, some just, normal everyday drivers, some restored. Yeah, there's a turquoise Lincoln that's just inside the door, and the gentleman is part of our club that built this car, and he builds it out of a 2-car garage. He doesn't have a lot of fancy machinery or anything. He's just that talented of a man. So the plans is to do it again next year. We don't know for sure where we're going to have it next year, but it could be here. But if they get the dome done again, finished, we'll probably be back there. Don't know for sure. Can't make that a quote or not. Right now we're a bunch of guys that's been around cars most of our lives, and we're getting up in age, and we need some young people. We've had 5 people join this weekend so far, and I'm so grateful for that. So to join the club, we have forums out at the Wheels of Time. We have a showroom that we sponsor a room and man that room over the summertime. So we have a Ford room out there that we sponsor. So we have all that information out at the Wheels of Time that you can pick up out there.
Hey, a definite sign of spring is ice cream. All of those seasonal ice cream shops come back to life for another season in central Illinois. That giant ice cream cone-shaped building in East Peoria, we stopped in and met with owner Carrie Foster and learned all about it.
Hi, I'm Carrie Foster. I'm the owner of the Twisty Treat in East Peoria, and we are officially open for business. So back in the 80s, the previous owner had a little shop on the corner called the Dairy Dream. And in 92, 93, they widened East Washington Street, and so they had to tear that building down. And that's when we got the cone from Florida. It was shipped up in like 19 pieces, and they put it all together, and they actually attached it to what is now our dining room, which is an old apartment building. This is my 5th season as owner, and I started here in 1993, the year the cone was built. People enjoy coming here because we've got, the inside seating, the outside seating. Our value is excellent. I know it's hard to find a good value for fast food these days with everything going up, but we still are affordable for families to come and have a nice treat and relax. So not only do we have delicious ice cream, and we also have a daily yogurt flavor, we have a huge food menu. We have probably any kind of appetizer you can think of. Our specialty is our homemade tenderloins. We make those ourselves, and we also have a homemade barbecue pulled pork, which is delicious.
Weekend Discovery, brought to you in part by TAPS No-Kill Animal Shelter, Fostering Saves Lives, 100 Taps Lane in Pekin, and Kelleher's Irish Pub and Eatery, 619 Southwest Water Street in Peoria.